कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे. Reading from the book The Perfection of Yoga, chapter number 7, The Fate of the Unsuccessful Yogi. It is not that Bhagavad Gita rejects the meditational yoga process. It recognizes it as a bona fide method, but it further indicates that it is not possible in this age. Thus, the subject in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is quickly dropped by Sri Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna next asks, Ayatihi shraddhayopeto yoga chalitamaanasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati. What is the destination of the man of faith who does not persevere? Who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism. So it's a very clear question by Arjuna to Lord Krishna. Aprapya yoga samsiddhim, one who could not attain the perfection of yoga. Kam gatim, what will be his gati? Where will he reach? This is the question of Arjuna. Though he has faith in the process what he is following, but by chance, by circumstance, if he is not able to continue, if he is not able to persevere on the same path, what will be his destination after his death? Right? Many times we see in the process, bhakti yoga process also, devotees, they, out of some kind of um, you can say, sometimes some sentiments drive them, sometimes some logic drives them, sometimes some kind of intellectual things drive them in bhakti, right? And what happens if there at one point of time, while in the process of devotional service, bhakti yoga, if their intelligence is not satisfied, if their sentiments are not satisfied, they tend to give up give up this bhakti yoga. Though they have a kind of faith, they don't they don't persevere, they cannot continue on the path of devotional service. They follow the process of bhakti yoga for some time, maybe for some days or for some weeks or for some months or for some years, right? Even after following for years also, there are chances, because Krishna says, Mama Maya Duratyaya, my Maya, my external energy, this external energy is very, very powerful, right? Sometimes, some people think, I have been practicing from so many years, from so many decades, I am very strong, Maya cannot touch me. No, we should be always careful that Maya may attack me any moment of time, any point of time. That is why a devotee who is really advanced, he never thinks that he is advanced. The devotee who has real determination, he never becomes puffed up that I will never fall down. No, he's always humble, thinking that I am in the world of Maya. Here the king is Maya, the queen is Maya, and we are all insignificant jivas. Any moment we can be attacked by the influence of Maya. So the devotee is very, very careful on this path of Bhakti Yoga. So, because the Maya is very powerful, sometimes a devotee may fall prey to Maya, the glamour of Maya, right? If you see in the outside world, you see lot of attraction, right? And those attractions attract us more than the activities of Bhakti Yoga, right? Today's, if you want to resist a child from using a smartphone, very very it is most difficult task for their parents, because if you want to engage them, if suppose they are crying, or you want to stop them, or they are disturbed by something, if you want to bring them to normal, then again they use this gadget of smartphone as a means, right? And if this is not there, sometimes children, they don't eat, right? So Maya has lot of things, lot of weapons, crazy weapons in the form of the modern gadgets, right? So any moment there are chances that a devotee may fall down, and Arjuna is asking the question, what will be the destination of that devotee who is fallen, who could not complete the process of bhakti yoga in this life, who left it in the middle? In other words, he is asking what becomes of the unsuccessful yogi, or the person who attempts to perform yoga but somehow desists and does not succeed. So let me explain to you once again. Most of you must be knowing the when we say the word yoga or a yogi, it refers to the process wherein the jiva is trying by different ways, different methods, different processes to connect himself back to the supreme self. The self, the atma, is trying to connect himself back to Paramatma, because we are disconnected from the supreme Lord, from Paramatma. There is a process to connect to him back, and that process of connecting him oneself back to the super self is called as yoga. So among the yoga processes, there are different kinds of yoga systems, right? One connects oneself to the Supreme Lord by service, by devotional service. That is called as Bhakti Yoga. Another person tries to connect oneself to the Supreme Lord by meditation. Another person tries to connect oneself to the Supreme Self by knowledge, by enhancing his knowledge. So that is how all this devotional processes. Another person tries to connect to the Supreme Lord by different kinds of penances, austerities. Right? So all this process, the different processes, they take the name of Bhakti Yoga, of Dhyana Yoga, right? Of Ashtanga Yoga, right? Of Hatha Yoga, of Jnana Yoga. All these different names comes up. But the root word is yoga, right? The foundation of all the yoga process is, the purpose of all the yoga processes is to connect ourselves with the supreme self, right? So Arjuna's question here is, what happens to the unsuccessful yogi? It is something like a student who does not get his degree because he drops out of school. Elsewhere in the Gita, Sri Krishna points out to Arjuna that out of many men, few strive for perfection. And out of those who strive for perfection, only few succeed. Right? So here Krishna says that many people they look for perfection, and out of those who look for perfection, hardly few will become successful to find the perfection. And among those who have found the perfection, hardly anyone will know me in truth. So Arjuna is inquiring after the vast number of failures. Even if a man has faith and strives for perfection in the yoga system, Arjuna points out that he may not attain this perfection due to worldly mindedness. Kachin no bhaya vibhrashtas chinna brahm ivanashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmanah pathi. O mighty armed Krishna, Arjuna continues, does not such a man, being deviated from the path of transcendence, perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? Where a cloud, when a cloud is torn apart by the wind, it does not mend back together again, right? It's a common experience for all of us. If you look at the sky during the rainy season, because of the heavy winds, sometimes a small portion of the cloud is taken away from the big chunk of the cloud, and that the separated small piece of the cloud, it has very less chances of getting back to the big chunk of the cloud, right? Because of the force of the heavy wind, right? So Arjuna is asking, does does not such a man, being deviated from the path of transcendence, perish like a riven cloud with no position in sphere, any sphere? Next, Arjuna asks, Etan me samshayam Krishna chetum arhasi asheshatah त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य चेत्ता nahi upapadyate. This is my doubt, O Arjuna, and apart from you, I don't think त्वद अन्य संशयस्यास्य चेत्ता nahi upapadyate. I don't think of anybody else who can clear this doubt. This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for yourself, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. Arjuna is asking this question about the fate of the unsuccessful yogi so that in the future people would not be discouraged. By a yogi, Arjuna is referred to the Hatha yogi, Jnana yogi, and Bhakti yogi. It is not that meditation is the only form of yoga. The meditator, the philosopher, and the devotee are all to be considered yogis, right? Prabhupada is giving a very good clarification here. Arjuna is questioning for all those who are attempting to become successful transcendentalists. And how does Sri Krishna answer him? Right? We heard the question of Arjuna, right? What happens to the unsuccessful yogi who could not achieve perfection in this life? Will he not be like the cloud which is taken apart from the main cloud and it will be lost in the sphere, in the space? So Krishna answers here. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Parthanaiveha Namutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krit Kaschit Durgatim Tata Gacchati. Here, as in many other places throughout the Gita, Shri Krishna is referred to as Bhagavan. Very important. In the first verse wherein Lord Krishna starts speaking in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when first time when this word Bhagavan is used. Srila Prabhupada gives very clear explanation in the purport, the meaning of Bhagavan. This is another of the Lord's innumerable names. Bhagavan indicates that Krishna is the proprietor of six opulences. He possesses all beauty, all wealth, all power, all fame, all knowledge, and all renunciation. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasah shriyah jnana vairagyayoschaiva shannam bhaga itingana. Bhaga, Shannam Bhaga, six kinds of opulences. And whoever possesses six kinds of opulences in full, he is called as Bhagavan. Six kinds of opulences in complete, not in a small proportion. A small proportion, or some qualities in full, some qualities in a small proportion. No, all the qualities, all the six qualities, all the six opulences in complete, in full. Living entities partake of these opulences in finite degrees. We too have all these opulences, but in finite degrees. We may claim that this property of this land belongs to me, or this much money which I have stored in the bank belongs to me. But can anyone in this world, can any one person in this world claim that all the property belongs to me? Can any one person in this world claim that all the wealth belongs to me? Can any one person, can any person who is most famous, right? Can he claim that all the fame belongs to me? None of others are famous. I am the only famous. Can any rich person say that all the wealth belongs to me? Can any knowledgeable person say that all the knowledge, I only possess all the knowledge? Can he say that? Can any beautiful person claim that I possess all the beauty in this world? No. The only person who can claim, who can say this is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Because he is the owner of all the six opulences in full. If I say today, now you may have got a doubt that yes, a person or the ordinary person may not, or a famous person may not be able to say that I have the full fame. The wealthy person may not be say that I have the complete wealth, but at least for time being, he at least he has some portion of wealth. He has some kind of beauty. He has some kind of knowledge. Yes, he has some kind of knowledge, but for how long? Neither your wealth is yours forever, nor your beauty is yours forever, nor your knowledge is yours forever. It is temporary, flickering. That is why that which does not belong to me, I come to this material world, and for a short period of time, I say that this property belongs to me for a small piece of land. And I fight for that. I become envious towards my neighbors, towards my relatives, towards my brothers, right? Just for a small piece of land which does not belong to me. I go to court, fight for that property. Sometimes I kill people, and sometimes I get killed because of the small piece of land or a small quantity of wealth. So, because it does not belong to us forever, that is why Krishna is the one to whom it belongs to forever. That is why he is Bhagavan. Living entities partake of these opulences in finite degrees. One may be famous in a family, in a town, in a country, or in one planet, but no one is famous throughout the creation as is Sri Krishna. The leaders of the world may be famous for a few years only, but Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, and he is still being worshipped, right? So one who possesses all six of these opulences in completeness is considered to be God. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks to Arjuna as the supreme personality of Godhead, and as such, it is to be understood that he has complete knowledge. Bhagavad Gita was imparted to the sun god and to Arjuna by Krishna. But nowhere it is mentioned that Bhagavad Gita was imparted to Krishna. Right? Very interesting. Nowhere we hear or read that some time ago, some millions of years ago, somebody imparted this knowledge to Krishna. No. In fact, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, millions of years ago, ages ago, yugas before, kalpas before, I spoke this Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivashvan. Right? And like that, from I spoke to Vivashvan, Vivashvan spoke to his disciple, he spoke to Vivashvan Manave Praha Manur Ikshva Kave Abravi. Vivashvan gave this knowledge to Manu, Manu gave this to Ikshvaku, and like this, in the parampara of Raja Rishis, this knowledge came down. But while it was coming down in the unbroken disciplic succession, it broke at some point of time. That is why I am speaking to you Bhagavad Gita, speaking to you the same Bhagavad Gita again. Complete knowledge means that he knows everything that is to be known. This is an attribute of God alone. Being that Krishna knows everything, Arjuna is putting this question to him about the fate of the unsuccessful yogi. There is no question, there is no possibility for Arjuna to research the truth. He simply has to receive the truth from the complete source. And this is the system of disciplic succession. Krishna is complete, and the knowledge that comes from Krishna is also complete. If Arjuna receives this complete knowledge and we receive it from Arjuna as it was spoken to him, then we also receive complete knowledge. And what is this knowledge? The blessed Lord said, son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Here, Krishna indicates that the very striving for yoga perfection is a most auspicious attempt. When one attempts something so auspicious, he is never degraded. Actually, Arjuna is asking a very appropriate and intelligent question. It is not unusual for one to fall down from the platform of devotional service. Sometimes a neophyte devotee does not keep the rules and regulations. Sometimes he yields to intoxication or is trapped by some feminine attractions. These are impediments on the path of yoga perfection. But Sri Krishna gives an encouraging answer. For he tells Arjuna that even if one sincerely cultivates only 1% worth of spiritual knowledge, he will never fall down into the material world pool. That is due to the sincerity of his effort. It should always be understood that we are weak and that the material energy is very strong. To adopt spiritual life is more or less to declare war against the material energy. The material energy is trying to entrap the conditioned soul as much as possible. And when the conditioned soul tries to get out of her clutches by spiritual advancement of knowledge, material nature becomes more stringent and vigorous in her efforts to test how much the aspiring spiritualist is sincere. The material energy or Maya will then offer more allurements. Right? Prabhupada gives this example. that whenever somebody is in the jail and he wants to escape from the jail, the jailer becomes more strict. He will have a special eye on that person who wants to escape from the jail. In this regard, there is the story of Vishwamitra Muni, a great king, a Kshatriya, who renounced his kingdom and took to the yoga process in order to become more spiritually advanced. Right? Most of us would have heard this story of Vishwamitra. He was a great king, but at one point of time renounced all his kingdom and took to the process of yoga. At that time, the meditational yoga process was possible to execute because it was millions of years back, right? That time, the lifespan was more, the age of the yuga was more, and the concentration of the mind was more. So, those who are interested in advancing in spiritual life, they could take up the process of meditational yoga. But today in Kali Yuga, it is not recommended. Vishwamitra Muni meditated so intently that Indra, the king of heaven, noticed him and thought, this man is trying to occupy my post. The heavenly planets are also material, and there is competition. No businessman wants another businessman to exceed him, right? Fearing that Vishwamitra Muni would actually depose him, Indra sent one heavenly society girl named Menaka to allure him sexually. Because Indra has this fear always. Though he is in Indra Loka, Swarga Loka, right, enjoying all the material pleasures, heavenly pleasures, but still he is always in fear. Right? Just like Hiranyakashipu did tapasya. As soon as these Danavas, these Asuras, they do tapasya and they get powers from Shiva or Brahma, they immediately want to conquer entire three worlds. Right? Hiranyakashipu conquered, Ravana conquered, Bali Maharaj conquered. So everybody wants to conquer the three worlds. And they see that Indra is the one who is enjoying the highest pleasure of this material world, being the Adhipati of Swargadhipati. So they too want to enjoy that pleasure which is being enjoyed by Indra. So they want to pull down Indra and they want to sit on the throne of Indra, enjoying the heavenly pleasures. So that is why Indra is always in trouble, always in fear. Anybody on this planet performs severe tapasya, Indra is in trouble. He wants to spoil the tapasya. Similarly, to spoil the meditation of Vishwamitra, Indra sent one beautiful heavenly girl named Menaka to allure him sexually. Menaka was naturally very beautiful and she was intent on disrupting the Muni's meditations. Indeed, he became aware of her feminine presence upon hearing the sound of her bangles, and he immediately looked up from his meditation, saw her, and became captivated by her beauty. Although he was determined to advance in spiritual life, he took to the most austere process of meditational yoga. Still, the mundane, the material beauty of Menaka distracted him. As a result, the beautiful girl Shakuntala was born. This girl Shakuntala was considered as the most beautiful girl in the pages of history. And this Shakuntala was born by the by the conjugation of Vishwamitra Muni and Menaka. When Shakuntala was born, Vishwamitra lamented, oh, I was just trying to cultivate spiritual knowledge, and again I have become entrapped. He was about to flee when Menaka brought this beautiful daughter before him and chastised him. Despite her pleading, Vishwamitra resolved to leave anyway. Thus, there is every chance of failure on the yogic path. When a great sage like Vishwamitra Muni falls down due to material allurement. Although Muni fell for the time being, he again resolved to go on with the yoga process. And this should be our resolve. Krishna informs us that such failures should not be cause for despair. One should not get disappointed by the fall downs, right? And fall down is not like the fall down of Vishwamitra alone. What is fall down? Fall down is nothing but at any point of time we get distracted from our goal, that is fall down. Fall down is a big word, right? And it has got different varieties. If you understand the meaning of fall down, there are devotees who are falling down every moment. Suppose I am chanting and some unwanted thought comes, it is a fall down. But the the intensity may be less. That fall down may not take you totally away from the path of bhakti yoga, but still that is a fall down. We have to take it very seriously. If while chanting, if we are distracted, suppose I'm scrolling reels on Instagram while chanting, it's a fall down, it's a distraction. Suppose I'm watching cricket and chanting simultaneously, it's a fall down. Suppose I'm planning to go to the temple today, and some friend of mine, he gives a better attraction to me. Today, let us go to the mall. I'll spend for you. So instead of going to the temple, you go to the mall. This is the fall down. So like this, every day we are falling down. So we should take these things very seriously and try to come above these falls and be strict on the path of devotional service, right? Only following four regulative principle itself is not strictness. Only if you follow only the four regulative principles, then I consider myself I am not fallen, I'm on the path. No, mind is a bigger trouble. These four regulative principles, following four regulative principles, is on a gross platform, on a bodily platform. Beyond that, there is subtle also. In my mind also, if I think of eating meat, suppose 20 or 30 years of your life you have eaten non-vegetarian food, and after 30 years you realize, no, it is not correct. It cannot help me in Krishna consciousness. And you give up completely and you start vegetarian food. And even if you remember also that once upon a time how I enjoyed, the chicken from KFC, it's a fall down. Right? So we have to be very careful that even it is said in the Shastras that apart from the gross sex life, there are 8 kinds of subtle sex life. And even if you think of a woman, it is a fall down. If you and say the same is applicable for both the gender, right? If you think of a woman, if you think of if you watch somebody engaged in some affairs, some illicit scene, that is a fall down, right? If you think of enjoying with another woman, that is also subtle sex life. Like this, there are 8 kinds of subtle sex life, right? And it is nothing but the subtle fall down. And when you are subtly fall down at your mental level, repeatedly you fall down at your mental level, there will come a day when you'll fall down grossly also. So the mental level fall down, when it continues for a longer time, it leads to gross level fall down. So here Vishwamitra Muni, although the Muni fell from for the time being, he again resolved to go on with the yoga process, and this should be our resolve. So a devotee should resolve that even if I fall down, I will get up and I again walk on the path of Krishna consciousness. I will not leave the path. Let me fall down 100 times. 100 times I will fall down, 100 times I will get up, and I will walk on this path. I will not give up the process of Krishna consciousness. This should be our determination. Right? Because Krishna is the master of Maya. Krishna is the controller of Maya. Maya may pull me down 100 times. I will get up and hold the lotus feet of Krishna 100 times. Krishna will definitely protect me. Krishna will always appreciate. Krishna will always be happy with my determination to get up and go on in this process of Krishna consciousness, than to get despair, to get discouraged, and again fall prey to be in Maya. Falling in Maya is not a problem, but being in Maya is problem. If you remain at the place where you are fallen, that is the problem. Falling is not a problem. If you fall and if you get up and start walking again, that is the resolve what we require. Krishna informs us that such failures should not be cause of despair. There is the famous proverb that the failure is the pillar of success, right? Every time we fail, we understand, we become more stronger, right? In the spiritual life, especially, failure is not discouraging. Krishna very clearly states that even if there is failure, there is no loss either in this world or in the next. Right? Neha abhikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. One who takes to this auspicious line of spiritual culture is never completely vanquished. Neha na iha abhikrama nashosti. On this path of self-realization, on this path of Krishna consciousness, there is no loss. Neha na iha abhikrama nashosti. There is no nasha. Now, what actually happens to the unsuccessful spiritualist? Shri Krishna specifically explains further in the 6th chapter. And we will see what Krishna explains in the following verses. We'll see this in the next class. Thank you all for joining this session. Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.